anything going. So with that, I am turning the program over to Anna Wiley. Get my stuff out of the way, if I can. You can take the clicker.
Good evening, and thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate your attendance here. This is probably the most important election, I believe, and there are several reasons why. This came from citizensgo.org, and here's some of the reasons why voting in these local elections are extremely important. Zoning laws can change your community. They determine whether churches, schools, shelters, or strip clubs and abortion clinics are allowed in your neighborhood. Election integrity starts locally. Local boards oversee how ballots are counted, how elections are run, and how polling places are secured. Drag shows and gender policies are decided by city councils. If you care about protecting public spaces for families, you cannot afford to skip local elections. Crime and public safety begin with local leadership. City leaders determine whether criminals are prosecuted or released. COVID mandates expose the reach of local power. Mask mandates, shutdowns, church closures all came from the local level. The next crisis will also. Your school board controls your child's classroom. From CRT to gender ideology to book bans, your local board holds the pen. Your taxes are on the line. Bond proposals, property tax hikes, and budget decisions are all voted on at the local level. Local elections are easier to win and lose. Just a few hundred votes often decide them. Your vote carries real, measurable weight. If you don't vote, someone else may be voting for you, and that someone else may be pushing an agenda completely contrary to your values. So we vote to make a difference. Don't sit it out. And of course, I'm speaking to the choir. You all came because you're interested in voting, so I appreciate that. But this is really, I think, more important than even the federal elections. This is because this affects our lives on a daily basis. So your community is counting on you. Early voting began Tuesday, and it runs through Friday this week, and then again Monday and Tuesday of next week. The election day is May 3rd.
Click.
Yeah, should do that, right? Okay, early voting hours this week are from 8 to 5. Now, next week, from Monday and Tuesday of next week, it's from 7 to 7, and then on election day, it's from 7 to 7 as well. Voting locations are listed here, and I believe that there was a handout there when you came in. If you didn't get one, you can get one on the way out. It has that information for you about all the locations and such. All right, so we're going to start introducing all the candidates that are here. But I also want to go through. All right, so do we have anybody from Mills? Okay, okay. So I thought possibly you might want to take pictures of the slides, and that way maybe you can get a hold of these people and contact them yourselves, since they weren't here today. And I know there's many reasons for people not being able to show up. So please try to contact them if you want to know who's running. Yeah, some of these are don't have a conference to work. So in the city of Bells, we have the mayor, Joe Paul Smith. He is the incumbent, and he has an opponent, Terry Crumby. And then for council member, there's 2 places up, and each one they are running unopposed. So Cody Kirkland, and then Bill Richtermeyer. Okay, so that's for the city of Bells. Okay, city of Pottsboro. The mayor is running unopposed. He is the incumbent, and he's running unopposed. Council members, there are 2 places for the council members. So you get to vote for 2. And what I did to come up with the names in this order is the way it looks on the ballot. So again, you take a picture of that, and you know what your ballot's gonna look like, in the order that it's gonna be. So council members for City of Pottsboro, Derek Goss, Bill Wostowski, probably said that wrong. Laney Ramsey. Laney Ramsey is the incumbent. So. City of South Main, we have, the mayor is running unopposed, Deborah Thompson. Council members, there are 2 places, so you can vote for 2. There are 2 incumbents there. And again, this is the order that they're on the ballot. Michael Hortzman, James Hayes, Brianna Monroe, Tom Byler, and Darrell Dean. And then the City of South Main has a proposition. It's a reauthorization of local sales and use taxes. We don't have anybody from South Main, right? We have the same type of tax and a different from Van Alstyne as well. You'll explain that for that one. Okay, we'll move on then. All right, for the City of Tom Bean, we have 3 council members' places open. There are 3 incumbents and 1 other one that's running. So Brittany Fulton Melton is the incumbent, Sherry E. Howard, Dawson Nicholas is an incumbent, and Sam Ellis are all council members at this time. Those 3, that's what the I stands for, is the incumbent. And then there's another special election council member, Michael Upchurch. And again, he's running unopposed, so no problem there. All right. City of Van Alstyne, we have 2 council members, but again, 1 for place 4, 1 for place 5. They're both running unopposed. So Carrie Lee Thomas, incumbent, and Katrina Arsenal. And all right, City of Van Alstyne, we have the reauthorization. So Jennifer, you don't mind coming up?
Okay, which one do you come out here?
Sorry. Come on up here.
So, the measure we have on the ballot, proposition on the ballot, is just a reauthorization of the allocation of our sales tax dollars. Currently, 1/4% of the sales tax dollars in Van Alstyne, which I assume is similar in, was it Tommy? South Main, is allocated for the maintenance and repair of existing streets. So the streets have to be existing at the time of the authorization or the reauthorization. In Van Alstyne, we've had this in place since 2013, and it has to be reauthorized every 4 years. So this will be the 3rd time it'll be on the ballot for reauthorization. And like I said, it's just not an increase in sales tax. Sales tax remains at 8.25%. It's just giving that quarter of 1%. It allocates it specifically for maintenance and repair of streets.
Any questions?
And when you straighten up that mic when you're talking.
I have a
Thank
question.
you. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
What happens if it's not authorized?
It would go away. So the sales tax would go to 8%, and that would be effective September 30th of this year for Van Alstyne.
Thank you.
All right, so next we go with the school boards, and Collinsville ISD, School Board Trustee, place 6, Ronnie O'Neill Sr., and Jared Crisp. Jared Crisp is the incumbent. Those are the 2 that are running. And then for School Board Trustee, place 7, Nancy Castorina and Bailey Lar. And again, the incumbent is Bailey Lar. Okay, Denison ISD. They go by wards. So Ward 1, Brian Hander, and then Linda Fleming. She is the incumbent. And School Board Trustee Ward 2, Charles Poole and Tom Todd Broom. And Denison also has School Board Trustee Ward 4. He does not have an opponent, that's Eric Hunt, he's the incumbent. And School Board Trustee Ward 7, Amber Filter is the incumbent, and J.C. Doty Jr. is running against Amber. And then, Denison has 2 bonds on the ballot, and there's information on the table over here. They look like this, that you can pick up for Denison. So if you want to look at the information on what those bonds are. One of them is for $16 million for construction, improvement, expansion of school facilities, and safety and security enhancements, including acquisition of land and school buses. Proposition B is for $5.4 million for acquiring and updating instructional technology equipment. All right, Howe has Proposition A. So theirs is a bond for $32 million for school facilities and the purchase of necessary sites for school facilities. All right, SNS has 2 places on the board. School Board Trustee place 2, Brad Caldwell, he's running unopposed. He's the incumbent. And School Board Trustee place 7, Cameron Fisher and Jeffrey McSpadden. And SNS also has a Proposition 8. And we have Jeff Russell, the superintendent of SNS, to come and talk about this law.
All right, can you hear me okay? Good, all right. So, yeah, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for letting me come speak. Will tell you, it is a little interesting. I'm the superintendent asking for a bond, and we're at the Tea Party meeting. But anyway, so I'll just say a little the backstory on this. SNS Consolidated. I've been there 2 years as superintendent. They built a middle school and they opened it in 2020. That bond passed in 2018. We have been watching enrollment. We did a demographic study back in the fall of 2023. That study showed that we would experience growth, not as fast as Sherman and places like that, or Howe at this point, but we would see some. So we kind of put that information in our back pocket and just kind of watched to see what was going on. And if you've driven down Lamberth Road, where it meets North Friendship Road, you see a housing development there that actually is an SNS Consolidated District. It's 347 apartments, it's 274 townhomes, and another 214 single-family homes will be built there as well. We've already received some students from that apartment addition in our elementary campus and middle school since it's been open. So when we found all this out, we decided to, kind of take a look at what our options were as a district. The school board, we had many conversations about what approach to take. We looked at our enrollment at the beginning of this school year, and we have been above this year's enrollment projection the whole year. We were supposed to be at 343 at the elementary. We've been closer to 360, 355, 360 this year. The district has been up across the board. We've been enrolled. For us, we're small, we're 3A, but as a district, we've been at 960 most of the year, not a little bit above that. And we were supposed to be, again, like 943 or something, 940. So we've gained some students, and though that's not a ton, but for a little district like SNS, it is a lot. It does take up some places in the classroom. In 2 years, though, it would put our elementary school at 91% capacity of that building. Now, I understand South Maid and Sadler's, who makes up SNS, many of you know that, South Maid does not have a sewer treatment system. That school is on an aerobic system. Right now, it is at capacity with the number of people we have on that campus currently. So to increase, allow that to continue to grow could obviously be problematic. So we had to take all that into consideration as well as we looked at options. We own land next to the middle school that opened in 2020. Plenty of acreage there, so that was something that we talked about. Land in South Maid behind the elementary was also discussed. When it came down to it, our facility planning committee decided that they would want to build an intermediate campus on the land in Sadler next to the middle school. The campus would house 3rd through 5th grade, which does a number of things. Currently, our 5th graders are on the same campus with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, which I understand why the district did that a few years back, and it had to do with gaining space at the elementary by moving 5th grade off. Well, now we're using every classroom at the middle school and at the elementary. So, and some of that has to do with space, classroom space, obviously. The other part of that is academically. Currently, our elementary school is evaluated by the state on a growth measure, just like every other campus is by the state. And when you only have one grade level to base that off of, all the weight falls on 4th grade for a growth measure for students. And so that rating for that campus is based on one grade level, and that's not my rule. I don't want to get into TDA, I don't want to go off on that right now, because I'd be here all night. But I will tell you, 3rd grade doesn't have a growth measure. It's the first time they take a STAR test. So the only time they see growth measure at the elementary is at 1 year, and that's the rating they get. So by putting 3rd, 4th, and 5th together in intermediate, the committee said, yeah, that's academically, that makes more sense. Our teachers can vertically align, work together. Our math teachers all the way down, 5th, 4th, 3rd, they can all align, reading, science, social studies, all that. So there's an academic element to this whole situation as well. So our projects, I'll make sure I haven't left anything off. It is a $36 million bond. The majority of that is made up of the intermediate. That's a budgeted number of $31 million. Okay, 53,000 square foot building. We're a small district. We don't need a giant school right now. But it would be a building that could be added on to later as we continue to grow down the road. Our middle school's built that way now. Our high school's built that way as well, where you can add classrooms for the future as growth continues. Our elementary is really not designed that way because you have a 1967 wing, a 1984 wing, and a 2010 wing. And so it's kind of a hodgepodge. It doesn't really flow real well, but it serves the purpose. It does a good job as far as what we have at the moment. We're kind of looking at 2 years down the road, and it takes about 2 years to get into a building once you pass a bond. So when you think about it, 2 years, we'll be at 91% capacity of that elementary. It's one of those things the committee just had to look at it and say, well, do we stay ahead of it, or do we wait around and get full, bring in portable buildings and all that mess? So the decision was to go ahead and start, go out for a bond. So they presented that to our school board in January in this amount. Now the tax impact is a 14-cent tax impact. And the average appraised home value in our district is $325,000. So it comes out to about $26.25 a month for a 14-cent tax impact there. Of course, for voters that are 65 and older, as all of you in this room know, as long as they have applied for that exemption, that tax impact does not affect them. It will be a zero for them. Trying to think if there's anything I have left off. Oh, projects. I should probably go over that, right? So obviously the intermediate school is the big project. The other minor projects we have are, for instance, another ag barn. Our ag program at SNS is a big deal. We really take pride in that, as we do all our programs, but like this last year at Lower Lake, we had the most, most hogs make sale of the school in Grayson County. So we're pretty proud of that at SNS. But our current ag barn is mostly made up of, over half of it is a show ring, a practice ring for our kids to work their animals with minimal pen space. So the committee was like, what can we do to gain more pen space? So we have kids who want to have an animal to show, but they don't have a place at home to necessarily keep that animal. And so the ag barn, the ag addition, is going to be similar in size, about 5,000 square feet, but it's mostly going to be pen space, concrete floor, wash station, drains, electrical, all of that, with some storage in there as well. That's the overall plan that's been discussed anyway. At our elementary campus, we are going to do some renovating. Our pre-K currently does not have restrooms as part of the classrooms, because again, we're talking about a 1967 wing. That wasn't a thing back then. Nowadays, when you build a school, the restroom's kind of a part of a classroom. They build it as part of it, so those little ones had a restroom nearby. And makes it a little more convenient. They're not leaving the classroom as much, and the teachers having to hold on to this, everybody herding cats. Line up, little ones, let's go to the restroom. So it just is one of those things that we would do at the elementary, is add some restrooms to our pre-K classrooms. We would renovate our serving line and kitchen, and then there's some old lockers in that building that teachers would really, as far as storage and for supplies and things, it is needed there. So that was another very small project that made the list. At our high school, we would also add a CTE edition with a testing center. So off the end of one of our academic wings, We would add 2 large classrooms off the end of that. One of those would be designated for CTE, robotics, engineering, fire science, criminal justice, anything related to that. Health science, we could use that space for the CTE programs. And then the testing center, currently when we give the SAT, the ACT, ASVAB, the TSI, the STAR test, our whole back portion of our academic wings, those teachers lose their classrooms for the day because we don't have a place for kids to take a test, a large group of kids to take a test. So this space would be obviously an oversized classroom space, which would allow for a place for kids to take tests, in addition to evaluating special ed students and dyslexia evaluations as well could be handled in that space. And then other than that, we were talking about changing some bleachers out at our middle school gym, mainly because of, again, seating. We have 300 kids on that campus. It's supposed to, it'll hold 525, maxed out. The problem is our bleachers are currently full now. When we have an assembly, we're not even at capacity of that campus. We hold band concerts in there. We don't have an auditorium. So when we do that, it's standing room only, or if you'd like to sit on the floor, you certainly may. But that's what we have. We moved to 5 rows of bleachers instead of 3. It's not a major project. It's just something that was brought up as a need by our committee. And then lastly, once those projects would be completed, the whatever's left over funds-wise, the funding-wise, we would use that for other upgrades, whether it be mechanical or cosmetic across the district. So that could be HVAC units, that could be restrooms that, maybe out by our stadium or something that's badly needed. That doesn't meet ADA currently, it needs to meet ADA. So there's some things that need to be addressed there. But yes, that is our, I guess that's our whole bond proposition in a nutshell. Are there any questions? I'm going to hurry away from this microphone so that you don't ask. No, I'm just kidding. But no, if you have questions, feel free to ask me about that. Do we have any SNS folks here? I'm just curious. Hey, all right. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Yeah, I knew Rebecca. I've seen you around. I'm like, I know her. So, anyway. Well, yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so Sherman, we're up to Sherman. Can I get all the Sherman people to come up? Because I know they all stood up here today. Okay, for school board trustee place 3, Jennifer Shelby is the incumbent and she is running unopposed. Jennifer?
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Johnston Shelby, and I appreciate being invited here tonight, and I'm looking forward to my second term serving in the best interest of our students and our parents and our teachers. Thank you.
Chelsea Williams Fredericks running for place 4.
I'm Kelsey Williams Frederick. I'm running for place 4. I'm a current teacher. So I think education's changed a lot since COVID. That's the year that I started was COVID year, so I have a really good first-hand account of what we're needing in the classroom because the needs have changed so much. I have a master's degree in business, a bachelor's degree in political science, so I feel like I have enough knowledge to be able to understand budgeting and those things that we need to be successful as far as a board. At the end of the day, I also did teach in Sherman, for the last 2 years up until this year I switched schools. But in those 2 years I got a really good idea of some of the problems Sherman's having. I don't think it's any secret that we're not doing great on our school ratings and things like that. I was an English teacher at the high school. I saw firsthand children that were reading well below grade level, that wasn't uncommon to see a 10th grader reading at a 5th grade level, which is really sad. I have some really strong opinions of why some of those things were happening, and I think I have a good idea of how we could start to fix those things. And I want teachers to feel supported. I feel like we need to make sure that teachers are being given the tools to make students successful in the classroom. And I think a really good way to make sure that's happening is by having a current teacher on the board. My son's in kindergarten there. He loves being a Sherman Bearcat, so I'd like for him to get to stay in Sherman schools instead of getting worried when it comes to middle school that he's gonna not receive a good education. So if you have any questions, I'll be sitting over there when everyone else is done.
And I'm Anna Wiley. I am running for school board place 4. I am the incumbent, so I've been on the board for 6 years now, so this is my third run for the school board. I think that I've proven myself as a conservative board member. I do promote for parents' rights in the classroom, for conservative values in our schools. I really have strong opinions about some of the books that have been able to get into other schools. And we have been very fortunate to keep them out of our schools, and part of that was due to some of my influence, and so I feel like I have, again, a strong record on that. I am also a retired teacher. I have 27 years teaching, plus I continue to do homebound teaching, so it's stay connected that way. So I think that's about it. Thank you. Next place is School Board Trustee, place 5, Paul Manley.
Thank you, Anna. My name is Paul Manley. My family and I have lived in Sherman for 10 years. I'm an engineer. I work for Presco, a large manufacturing organization here within Sherman. And I've been an active community member in Sherman since I've lived here. I currently serve on the board of the Grayson County Children's Advocacy Center. I'm a past president of that organization. I serve on that board alongside our district attorney, Mr. Hill. It's an organization that assists in prosecuting child sex crimes and protecting our children. I've been a member of the Sherman Rotary Club for many years. I run their largest fundraiser, the flag program. Some of you, if you live in Sherman, may be familiar with it. We install 700 American flags around the city of Sherman for 5 holidays throughout the year, and then donate the proceeds to Boy Scout Troop 15 and several local nonprofits. I've served on the City of Sherman's Planning and Zoning Commission for 6 years. Best battery storage systems were mentioned recently. Last year, there was an item for approval on the Sherman Planning and Zoning Commission board to try and install one of those in the city of Sherman, and I was the only planning and zoning member that voted against it. And luckily, the city council agreed with me, and that motion failed. I was raised by a public school teacher. I'm a product of public schools. I believe in our school system. I believe a strong school system is the heart of a strong community. Earlier, there was a quote by former President Kennedy that said, we're going to lower taxes in order to ensure a prosperous economy and future. I don't believe it's possible to have a prosperous economy and future without investing in a future generation of educated and productive citizens, and that's why I believe so strongly in our school system. And I'm running solely to improve our student performance, academic performance. Like the STAR test or not, it is the tool by which we're given by the state to judge our academic performance and by which we're judged to other local school districts. And I believe that it is the #1 priority we should focus on for our kids and for our city, and that is why I'm running to do what I can to improve that. I believe that I can help do that by my background as an engineer. I'm a problem solver by nature. I think analytically, I'm data driven, and I focus on results. I believe in setting a goal, working towards that goal, and focusing on progress towards that goal. I believe my experience working in a large organization comes into play. I believe that Sherman ISD has a lot of work to do in building a healthy organizational culture where teachers feel trusted and welcomed and want to continue to work there and want to come to work here. And my background in a large organization such as that, I think I can lend some help in that area. So with that, I'll quit talking now. Thank you very much. I would appreciate your vote on May 3rd.
Thank you. And Aaron Clayton is also running for place 5.
Hi, I'm Erin Clayton. I have been an Austin College grad, and one of my first jobs out of school, I worked at Image Mark, which is now DCC. I was a case manager and a crisis counselor. And while I was there, I'm so sorry, I'm so soft-spoken. While I was there, what I really realized with all the clients that I ever had was education was the defining factor of a lot of people's lives. And so that became like a vocation for me, and so I went to UNT, and I got my teaching certification. Then I had my kids, and I stayed home with them. But throughout the last 9 years that I've had school, the last 9 years I've had Sherman ISD school kids. I've been an active member in all of the PTAs that my kids have ever had, done booster clubs, I've just volunteered at other people's schools through the community schools program that we have. And I've invested a lot in Sherman. I haven't been on one of the boards for other things because all of my time has been in improving the education in Sherman for all of the students, even if they were mine. And the reason I'm running for a school board is so that I can keep doing that and have a good impact on our school system from the top down. So, and if it matters, I have a lot of treasurer experience because every single time I'm on a PTA or a booster club, somehow I get conscripted as a treasurer. But the nice thing about PTA, the thing about public PTAs, they give you training. So if you're a person who's like, I don't know how to do budget, the PTA does do trainings like, how to do control and how sales tax works. So I do have experience besides just volunteering. So I would appreciate your vote and making Sherman the education, giving Sherman students the education they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it all coming, showing up. That's good. Great. All right, so we move on to Van Alstine. We have a representative for Randy Gentleman. And then Kurt Heinlein. Him all right. Is the incumbent, but this is for place 1 school board trustee. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am not Brandy, but Brandy sent me to be her representative. She had another meeting group tonight. So my name is Marcel, and I don't know Brandy like personally, except for through just this campaign process. And so Brandy's running basically on the fact that she would like to see more transparency on the Van Alstine School Board. She is actually our PTO president, so she's done some amazing things with our PTO. My child goes to the same school that her kids go to, and she's at Parton Elementary. So she's done some wonderful things. Her daughter, she's got 3 kids. One is in Parton, one is in the middle school, and one's in the high school. So the transition between the high school and the middle school, since we just had a new one built recently, was a little off kilter, and so there was no books in the library in the middle school when they opened. And so her daughter, being the middle schooler, was a big reader, and so she took that project on herself, and Brandy helped with that. So Brandy actually found the grant money and went around, got donations. So I'm very much, again, I can't speak for Brandy, but I'm very much a Brandy supporter. She's a go-getter. She sees a problem, she fixes it, and she attacks it with professionalism and just doing the due diligence that you would expect out of a board member. So again, we very much appreciate all of her work on the PTO. Sorry, I'm just sick. And I think she would be a wonderful addition. Again, she's really running on just transparency. She really, she brings budget experience with her because she does, her professional career is not in education, but she is a insurance broker. So she is used to looking at budgets and coming up with the best solutions. So I guess that's it. Sorry, I hope I made her proud today. Yes.
All right, so for place 2 in Van Alstine, we have Bo Williams, and he's the incumbent and he's running unopposed. We have Kevin Wilson. There's Kevin Wilson with Al. So we're back in the
I was at a band concert, so
Yes,
thank you for letting me circle back around.
yes, I appreciate you coming.
Absolutely. I've got some flyers I'm gonna pass out. You can kind of, yeah, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Sure. Too far. All right, Kevin Wilson, Superintendent with Howe ISD, and we have a bond proposal for the May 3rd election. Three primary projects on that is Phase 2 of Summit Hill Elementary. We built Summit Hill in 2019, and it was designed to add on to at some point. We're hoping to be farther down the road, but here we are. And it will essentially double the capacity, bring that capacity to about 800 students. We currently do not have a gym, so we're going to add a gym to that facility and hopefully improve the traffic flow. And the portion of that, of the bond, is $23.5 million. Another aspect of the bond is to purchase land. We've got a budget of $6 million for that. At some point, we're going to need a future high school. And if you know anything about the growth in the Sherman and Grayson County area, it's going to become pretty difficult to find 100 acres for a school site if we wait too long. So we're going to start looking for that. We also have 3 elementary school sites dedicated in development, but we're going to need some other campuses, different portions of the district. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. And the third project is to replace the roof at our high school, $2.5 million. Our high school is 25 years old. It's a 20-year roof, and it's served its life. It held up well, but it's time. If you look at the reason for the bond, primarily the addition at Summit Hill is the projected enrollment growth. We had a demographic study done last spring, and we're projected to triple enrollment in 2034, so that's 9 years. Our elementary is expected to exceed capacity in 2 years, so we're trying to plan ahead. That's not always possible in our business, but trying to get ahead of the growth. And if you look at the bottom, several housing developments in various phases, but we're projected to add over 11,000 homes in the next 10 years. If you look at the back, it has the tax impact. The average appraised home value in Howe ISD is $300,000. With the homestead exemption, that's a taxable value of $200,000. Would be an increase of approximately $400 a year, 20 cents on the INS tax rate. And you can see the bond language. And if you would like any additional information, you can scan the QR codes or visit our website. I'm happy to answer any questions if you've got any.
Thanks, sir. Okay. For Whitesboro ISD, we have school board trustees. They, you have to vote for 2. There are Shannon Blake, Eddie Wood, Michael Parrish, Brittany Knight, and Carrie Downs. You can see the 2 incumbents up there, so you just vote for 2. They listed this way. They don't do places. They just vote for the number of people. And then Whitewright, same idea. School board trustees vote for 3. Tommy L. Henderson, Marvin Arterbury, Sharon Jester, and Linda K. Jester. So there's 2 incumbents there and then 2 more. Unless I missed that. All right. So that does it for the school districts. There is one additional, there was a ballot that had a whole bunch of stuff on it. It's all about a mud in Lake Texoma. So if you're interested in that, I've got a couple of copies of this. There's like A through G propositions and a vote for the board of directors, that kind of thing. So that's in precinct 402 is where you see that one. So. All right, so you've met the ones that are here. Now, our meetings don't usually end until 9 o'clock, so you have, a good 50 minutes to meet and talk with those that you would like to talk to. They're in your district or that kind of thing. If you want me to go back so you can see who is in your district, I'd be glad to go back on the slides and show you the ones that are running in your district, get a picture of them so you can go back to your district and say, hey, or your city and say, I would like to meet this person. But this is the time now, and I really appreciate everyone coming out, but this is the time now to meet and greet those people that have come. Thank you. So, mingle, please.